Good evening, YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. This is Mike, also known as Gray, followed by a number. And I say that because a lot of people always forget the numbers, so I'll just leave it at that. Anyway, welcome back. I'm here to do a response to a challenge issued by a guy named John from a channel called Plaid X2. And he issued this, he came up with this idea of showing a film for every year of the history of movies, going back as far as his collection goes, so that he can show something for consecutive years. Does that make any sense? I hope it does. So in other words, his collection, I think, started maybe late 20s. I can't remember now, but so 1929 consecutive years, one for each year. And so it's a great idea, and I thought I would do a response. And John is a great YouTuber, somebody you definitely need to check out. He's very creative. He is enthusiastic. He has a lot of energy, and he comes up with a lot of very intelligent ideas. So definitely check out his channel and give him a sub. I'm also going to put links to two other videos. Two of my YouTube friends so far that I know of have done responses to this challenge. One of them is Neil of Neil's Movie Channel, and Neil is a good friend. Another guy you need to check out, very intelligent work. He's very friendly and loves to respond to comments, and he knows so much about foreign films that I've never even heard of, and I learn something new every time I go to his channel. So definitely give Neil a sub. And also a new guy in the YouTube universe. His channel is called CineArtTherapy. That's a great name for a channel, CineArtTherapy. And his name is Altaz, and he has been doing some very creative and intelligent, very intellectual videos for the last several weeks, and someone you definitely need to check out. He deserves a lot of support. So you will learn a lot of things from these guys, and you will enjoy watching them. So let me get to my particular list here. My collection actually goes all the way back to the year 1915. I have a few titles up 15, 16. Then I have some gaps. And then finally, by 1925, that is when I have a film for each consecutive year up to the current year. So let me show you what I have for 1915. This is a film called A Fool There Was, starring Theda Bara in the film that made her a star overnight. Theda Bara, okay? And for 1916, Theda Bara once again in a film called East Lynne. Okay? All right. Now I have some gaps going up to the year 1920, and then I have this classic, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, followed by The Phantom Carriage, 1921. 1922, Nosferatu. 1923, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, Lon Chaney. Then I have nothing for 1924. Going into 1925, I have Greta Garbo in Joyless Street, followed by La Boheme, starring Lillian Gish and John Gilbert. 1927, Sunrise, starring Janet Gaynor. 1928, Beggars of Life, Louise Brooks, Wallace Beery, Richard Arlen. 1929, The Letter, Gene Eagles. 1930, Louise Brooks once again in her first sound film, Pré-Débutée, French film. 1931, The Cheat, Tallulah Bankhead. 1932, from Warner Brothers, the studio system, Spencer Tracy and Betty Davis in 20,000 Years in Sing Sing. Then 1933, this is, 1933, from this Forbidden Hollywood compilation, I'm choosing Wild Boys of the Road, starring Frankie Darro, one of the best kid actors that ever worked in Hollywood, directed by William Wellman. 1934, The Gay Divorcee, Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers. 1935, Mark of the Vampire. 1936, Boris Karloff, The Man Who Lived Again, also known as The Man Who Changed His Mind, co-starring Anna Lee. 1937, Black Legion, Humphrey Bogart. 1938, Jezebel, Bette Davis. 1939, Disputed Passage, Dorothy Lamour, Akeem Tamaroff. 1940, Kitty Foyle, Ginger Rogers, her Oscar-winning performance. Okay, 1941, The Wolfman, Lon Chaney Jr. I know what's going to happen here. I've got these piles of DVDs and Blu-rays are all going to fall on the floor, so be ready for a loud noise. 1942, This Gun for Hire, the film that finally made Alan Ladd a star after many years of struggle with Veronica Lake. Okay. 1943, Flesh and Fantasy. 1944, Laura. 1945, Rome, Open City. 1946, The Chase. 1947, Morning Becomes Electra. What a great title. Morning Becomes Electra. Rosalind Russell. Strange Victory. Crisscross. Here's a film called High Lonesome, starring a young man named John Barrymore Jr., who later changed his name to John Drew Barrymore. Next up is He Ran All the Way, John Garfield and Shelley Winters. Okay. 1951, Kid Monk Baroni, starring a very young Leonard Nimoy. Okay. In fact, the film says introducing Leonard Nimoy. The Fast, no, got the wrong one. No, this is the Wild One with Marlon Brando. Okay. Next up, The Fast and the Furious. Not the one you're thinking of. This is directed by Roger Corman. This is 1954, right? Better follow my sheet here. 1954, yeah. The Fast and the Furious. John Ireland and Dorothy Malone. Okay. 1955, Dementia. 1956, The Bad Seed, Patty McCormick. 1957, let's do some low-budget horror here. We have a nice double feature, actually. I Was a Teenage Werewolf with Michael Landon, and I Was a Teenage Frankenstein. Okay. 1958, more low-budget classic, I should say, High School Confidential. 1959, The Tingler, Vincent Price. 1960, Home from the Hill, Robert Mitchum, directed by Vincent Minnelli. 1961, A Cold Wind in August, Lola Albright and Scott Marlowe. 1962, here's one you all know about, The Exterminating Angel, Louis Buñuel. Try to explain this one. I can't. 1963, one of my favorites, The Sadist, Arch Hall Jr. 1964, Failsafe. If this doesn't stop your heart at the end, nothing will. Okay. 1965, Mario Bava's Planet of the Vampires. 1966, Black Girl. 1967, The Incident. 1968, Voyage to the Planet of Prehistoric Women, starring Mamie Van Doren, directed by Peter Bogdanovich. I'm not making this up. 69, Coming Apart, Rip Torn. Okay, 1970. Let's go to Italy for Stop the World, I Want to Get Off. The Italian title, which I'll mispronounce, is Fermate il mondo, voglio scendere. Barbara Steele. Okay. 71. Dusty and Sweets McGee. 72. Images. Directed by Robert Altman and starring Susanna York. Beautiful film. 73. The Wicker Man, the original, Christopher Lee. 74. Chinatown, Roman Polanski. Wow, great movie. 75. Yeah, 75. Kings of the Road, Wim Wenders. 76. Polanski again, The Tenant. 77. Opening Night, starring Jenna Rollins, directed by John Cassavetes. 1978. Days of Heaven. 1979. Star Trek, the motion picture. 1980. Out of the Blue, Dennis Hopper. Directed by and starring Dennis Hopper with Linda Manz. Great, great film. Mommy Dearest. Smithereens. Educating Rita. One of my favorites. Stranger Than Paradise. It's 1984 we're up to. Yeah, 1984. Stranger Than Paradise. Jim Jarmusch. 1985. The Purple Rose of Cairo. Woody Allen. Starring Mia Farrow. One of the best things she ever did. Next up, 1986. Mala Noche. Let's see. Means bad night. And we've all had one, right? Okay. Mala Noche. Next up, Matawan. John Sayles. 1988. The Vanishing. Wow. Nothing else in the world like this. 1989. Drugstore Cowboy. Matt Dillon. 1990. Slacker. 1991. Fishing with John. John Lurie. This is great fun. Just great fun. Okay, let's see. 1992. Howard's End. Beautiful film. Beautiful. 93, sorry. Sean Astin, Rudy. Next up is Ed Wood, 1994. 1995, Living in Oblivion. Steve Buscemi. This is one I've never heard anybody else talk about. Definitely worth checking out. Okay. 1996, Pusher, the original. 1997, Trekkies. Okay, 1998, get to my last pile here. Nothing has fallen on the floor. I'm quite amazed. I'm very pleased. 1998, The Red Violin, Samuel L. Jackson. Beautiful, beautiful film. Sorry for my hand shaking. I have a shoulder that's kind of weak here. 1999, Joe the King. Directed by Frank Whaley. And features Ethan Hawke and Val Kilmer, and this young kid here plays a title role. His name is Noah Fleiss, and I can't recommend this highly enough. It's a beautiful, beautiful, heartbreaking film. Fantastic performance by everybody involved. Val Kilmer is probably the best thing I've ever seen him in. Okay, Joe the King. Next up is Groove. 2000. Yeah. 2001. Pulse, also known by its Japanese name Cairo. Fantastic horror film. Frank Whaley directed this once again and also stars in this film. It's called The Jimmy Show, and it features Ethan Hawke. Okay. Next up is Coffee and Cigarettes. This is 2002. Okay. No, it's 2003. Sorry. 2004. The Machinist. Christian Bale. 2005. 9. This is a gift from my friend Jordan Thompson. I'm sorry, I screwed up Jordan's last name. Sorry, Jordan. Next up is from this horror film compilation, The Night Listener, starring Robin Williams and Toni Collette. Okay. Next up is My Winnipeg. Next up is, let's see, Deception. Great cast of actors. Hugh Jackman. Next up is a very cool English film, An Education. Next up is a Coen Brothers film, A Serious Man. Okay. The Way, Martin Sheen. Next up is a beautiful movie, visually amazing, Samsara. Great horror film that I highly recommend, Barbarian Sound Studio. Next up is Nebraska, a black and white classic, Bruce Dern. Lost River. The Gift. Patterson. Saw this in a film class, Adam Driver. A science fiction film that I just absolutely love, The Endless. Highly recommended. Leave No Trace. Ethan Hawke, my favorite actor of this era, in Adopt a Highway. The Father. This is 2020. 2021. The Beatles Get Back. Love this. Really enjoyed watching this. And we have for 2022, The Banshees of Inisherin. And I don't have a lot of films for 2023, but I like this one very much. Recently just watched it for the second or third time. The Innsmouth School for Girls, directed by Joshua Kennedy. And that's my list of films, that one for each year. So check out the guys that I mentioned, and comments are always welcome. So take care, folks.